Hello and welcome to my now named interview series called, obviously, Critic Interviews. What a creative name. It's my show where I get in one MLP analyst every month or so, and I ask them questions and they answer them. On the show this time is, uh, well, introduce yourself, guest.
Greetings, every pony. My name is Quilled Ink, previously Silver Quill, but that is behind me now. How are you doing?
I am good. So, are you ready
Good to
to
hear.
start the questions?
Already, I am ready.
Alright. First question. How did you become a brony? How did you get into the show?
Oh goodness. Okay, I have like the most uninspiring origin story of just about any brony I've ever met. So, yeah, let's see. My cousin was super into it way back when season one started. He was, one of those people who watched it. First episode aired on the hub, he was there, all that. Um, And since we are pretty close friends, we play video games online and whatnot. So one time we were playing a game called Gary's Mod, and he invited me to join a server, which was a. I'm not sure exactly how to explain it. It's like you go into the server and you watch videos, mostly YouTube videos, but you can do it like together, almost like a Twitch stream, but you're in game. If that makes sense, I don't know.
So together trip, basically.
I'm not sure,
That's
but
a
it's like
that's a thing, by the way.
I
Sure.
don't know.
All right.
But yeah, so he just dragged me into the server and he turned on the first episode. And first I was like, well, this is stupid. It's a young girl's show. Why would I like this? And it was basically like that for the next year or so before finally I was like, okay, fine, I'll watch the freaking first episode like to the end. And cliffhanger ending, watch the next episode. And okay, that was cool, I guess. Let's watch the next episode. And you know the story from there.
Yeah.
And yeah, I guess the only really thing of note is that it was my first year of university at the time, so when things got really kind of tough on the stress level, I always kind of had that to turn to. So, it was helpful in its own way.
Right.
But yeah, see, nothing really all that impressive, just kind of standard.
Yeah. Really, kind of. That's how the show gets most people.
hmm
Uh, so, second question. What is your favorite episode of MLP and why?
Oh gosh, that's like asking what's my favorite book or what's my favorite movie or ooh. Um,
You can pick one episode every season
okay.
for each season
Not
if you want
sure if
to.
that helps. I think I'm just gonna stick with one episode because
All
that makes
right.
things easier for me. And I hate to make this kind of like the default for pretty much everyone who likes Twilight Sparkle, but I really liked Lesson Zero because that's when I was like, that was like the most relatable episode for me.
Ah,
It's like, that's me, only without the princess thing and magic.
I
But
can see how
everything
it'd be
else, that's me.
I can see how that would be relatable to you. Your university situation.
Yeah,
So so
definitely.
so what exactly did you like about it? Was there anything other than that?
Well, I could just like when I get kind of like bogged down with things that I should be doing or things that I want to do, I get really anxious or really stressed, and then my brain kind of goes into like overdrive, where I'm just like so desperate to get something done that it kind of ends up becoming more of a problem than it was back when I didn't have it, done. A good example is when I got my YouTube channel started. Um, and I wanted to write, get these analysis scripts out the door. I had like these huge, high, lofty goals. Like I'm going to write this analysis about the moral philosophy of the princesses, and it's going to be great and stuff. But have you ever tried writing about that kind of thing? The more I tried to get it perfect, the more I stressed about it. The more I stressed about it, the more I tried rewriting it, and the more I rewrote it, the worse it got. And eventually, I just kind of crashed and burned, and that script has disappeared since.
Uh,
It's like that whole like that buildup of anxiety and like trying to get something done, and it, not happening the way you want it to happen, and almost
as
like that crazed state that Twilight ends up in. It's like, oh wow, that's me.
As someone who's worked with Visual Basic, a programming language, I certainly know how that feels. Uh, okay, next question.
Alrighty.
Who's who is your wait what?
I did nothing.
Oh,
Nothing.
right. Okay, next question. Who's your favorite pony and why?
I think I kind of answered that with my last answer, but Twilight Sparkle because she is immediately relatable.
Okay.
Yep. Easy question, easy answer. Let's go.
Why do you think grown men watch a show aimed at little girls? What is your take on the Brownie phenomenon?
Oh man. Um, there are a variety of reasons that I can think of. I mean, I've noticed a kind of a common trend that a lot of people that get into it are also into a lot of other kind of cartoons or television shows. However, they're kind of more socially acceptable, like Adventure Time, SpongeBob, anime, um, or even Disney or something like that. It is a little bit weird, I guess, to see older people enjoying that kind of thing, but at the same time, they're kind of obviously going for a family friendly approach. And in the case of Adventure Time or SpongeBob, there are kind of explicit adult references in there that children aren't supposed to get. So those are, that's kind of acceptable. However, when you get to ponies, where it's like so incredibly obvious that little children should be the only people who are allowed to watch this show, because how can you possibly like something with so much pink and purple and pastel coloration and hearts and rainbows and um, but that's so with people who have a more solid background in cartoons can kind of identify the real meat of the show, which is the content, the characters, the world, and aren't quite so caught up on the immediate physical or visual appearance, such as the really bright girly colors and all that fun stuff.
Hmm.
And then others get into the show just because they might have had a downtime in their life, kind of like me at university, and kind of just needed a lift up. I'm actually not entirely sure what got me into the show because I've never really been super duper into cartoons. I think the biggest thing I was into before MLP was Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I probably wouldn't have been into that if, again, my cousin hadn't gotten me into it. Um, I don't know. For me, I think the big attraction for me was the characters and the worlds um, being the characters being incredibly developed and the world being developed just enough to allow for speculation and kind of discovering it for yourself, kind of making not okay, making the right word, kind of creating the ideal Equestria for yourself just by watching the show and kind of speculating about it. But it's different for every person. But overall, this is definitely a show with great production quality and the voice acting, the animation, everything's really well done. Um, So there's really no reason not to like the show if you're into that kind of thing. Of course, there's also things like the strong moral presence, which is really not something that we get in a lot of media today. Lots of quote unquote manly movies are
Hmm.
all about the big buff heroes and the action and the guns and the heroism and just the general American spirit. Yeah. Um, without really much focus on kind of what know what's right, what's wrong, what's appropriate to do, what's not, like kind of engaging with the media on a more immediate basis, considering relationships like friendship and just loving kindness, that kind of thing. It's not something you see a lot in television or in movies these days. So for a lot of people, I could see that being kind of an uplifting aspect, something that keep them coming back, something that I think a lot of people need to be reminded about. But well, that's my take.
All right, that's pretty interesting. So, next question. What would you like to see in season 5? What would you like to see happen in the
Ooh.
next season?
Well, as I mentioned in the previous answer, I am quite fond of considering how the world works and how it can be developed or how it can be um, added to. Something that, well, first off, have you seen that teaser that was released at Comic Con?
The season 5 animatics, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So apologies for anyone watching who hasn't seen it, but
Spoilers.
Spoilers, but that
Spoilers! If anyone's seen the Nostalgia
that kind
Critic, you'll
of
get that reference.
I can't recall if I do. I don't know. It's early. Don't ask me things. I don't know. But anyway, so in the animatic that was released at Comic Con, there was that like 3D holographic map of Equestria there, and it was much bigger than the map that the like official canon map. It actually had bits of area on it that we hadn't seen before. So that got me kind of hoping for an expansion of the world, so to speak, kind of like when the Crystal Empire was added back at the beginning of season 3. Like as far as I'm concerned, the more stuff there is to the world, the more interest I find in it. But forever ago, I was really into Star Wars, and if you know much about Star Wars, the world, the expanded universe created by the novels, comic books and whatnot became huge, really vast, full of lots of great characters and hundreds and hundreds of planets and locations and stuff. And I loved that. So I would just love to see the world just grow larger and like become more intricate. I'd love to see like the background or the like where the griffins came from or the zebras or like how their societies work if they have societies to so to speak of. I always kind of pictured the zebras to be kind of nomadic, but that's just me. That kind of thing. And of course, I do want to see Twilight develop as a princess. So I want to see that process. And fingers crossed, I would love to see the Cutie Mark Crusaders get their cutie marks. That might be heresy to say, but I want to see it.
All right then. Uh, I was kind of hoping that like they had a story next season about one of the CMCs getting their cutie mark, but not the one of the ones you'd expect.
Oh.
Babs.
Oh man. That would be interesting. That would be
Yes.
definitely interesting.
Babs is
Something
an
that
in-
I always. Oops, sorry, go ahead.
Babs is an interesting character, and
Indeed.
I really would like to see more of her.
Yeah. Didn't the voice actress decide that she was done with the show, though?
I have no idea,
I
really.
recall hearing something about that. I kind of hope not, because, yeah, as you said, she was a very interesting character.
It's a good thing
And
about voice acting, you can just get someone else to do it.
indeed, indeed. Yep. So, yeah,
Right.
that would be kind of cool. I always kind of fancified about the possibility of, fantasized rather, fancified, I don't know what I'm talking about the possibility of an episode or two in which one of the Crusaders got their cutie mark, and the other two just were stuck in the situation of kind of half jealousy and half feeling bad because they're jealous, and then just like kind of oppressed by the fact that one of their close friends got their cutie mark before them. That would be really,
That does seem a whole lot like green isn't your color though.
but yeah,
Mm.
could be. I don't
And
know. This it really depends on how they made the characters react and which character they chose to get a cutie mark. It could be done though. I hope. I
anyway,
hope.
you may have made my next question redundant, but let's go for it. Like try and expand upon it to
All right.
so that. Is there a character you would like to see get more development in the coming seasons? No, it doesn't have to just be main six.
Right.
Any character, other than background
Hmm.
ponies, obviously.
Oh wow. Let's think. I mean, there are plenty of characters who I'd love to see get discussed more screen time, stuff like that. Um, I think I want to say Celestia actually, because but at the same time, I almost feel like that's probably never going to happen because of the way that she's kind of been portrayed as this mentor figure, and typically the mentor figure doesn't usually get much in the development department. However, I do feel like Celestia could use some explanation. Um, because obviously a lot of people bring up the issue that, oh well, this thing happened and Celestia wasn't there, therefore she must be a terrible princess, or something like that. I would love to see some kind of reason given for that, or just get a better understanding of who she is. Well, this is too much to hope for, obviously, but where she came from, um, like what's her life like, I suppose. As a
I remember seeing a tweet by Andy Price. He does the art for the
right, yeah.
MLP comics.
Hmm.
Uh, he said that unless the show specifies otherwise, the comics are canon.
Right.
Here's a question I missed out on my last interview.
Okay.
What character in the show would you consider shipping yourself with?
Oh. Okay. That is the last question I expected to be asked when I woke up this morning. All right. Gosh. Oh dear.
Better way of phrasing it would be, who's your waifu?
Okay. Um, I really hope I don't become big and famous on YouTube because this is going to probably spawn a lot of fan fictions. Um, Gosh. I don't know. I honestly don't know.
If you don't want to
I've
answer, that's
never
fine.
once
I
thought
mean,
about it.
alright then. I mean, if you don't want to answer it, it's perfectly
Just go
understandable.
ahead and just stick Twilight in that situation yet again because she's pretty much been my answer for every other who's best pony question.
Alright
Um,
then.
she's also accounted for, so apparently, unfortunately, Equestria Girls is in fact canon according to who was it that confirmed that? I've forgotten. One of the writers. Can't remember.
Are they trying to make me cry?
You know,
Oh.
right?
Oh.
Uh, oh well.
Well, it's canon now. The show's done and I'm going home. Uh, if you woke up in Ponyville as your OC, what's the first thing you would do?
Oh goodness, that's a good
Other
question.
than going to the mines and getting your ass kicked by diamond dogs.
I get that reference. Oh goodness, that was fun. We need to do that again.
Yeah.
Um, let's think. Burst into the library. What year is it? No. That is a good question. Probably just walk through Ponyville in a bit of a daze, to be honest. Just like, is this real? Okay, I'm probably gonna wake up any minute now. Not waking up. Okay, now what do I do? There better be something to do, or else I'm probably just gonna curl up and die.
Hmm.
I don't know, man. I've probably told you before in the chat room that when I get around people that I consider to be, you know, famous or much appreciated or whatever, I kind of lock up a bit on it. I can't really get myself to talk to them. Like at BronyCon this last year, I could barely get myself to go up and talk to Digi or Tommy Oliver. So I can't imagine how I would be
You went
trying to
to
talk to one of the main
BronyCon.
six.
You, you,
Sorry.
you went to BronyCon. Ugh. Ugh.
I'm suffering from going to BronyCon. I'm broke. I'm going to be broke for the next month.
Well, hopefully I can go to BronyCon next
I
year.
hope so. That would be great to see you there.
Hmm. Anyway, next
But yeah,
question.
awesome.
What motivates you to review slash analyze MLP, and why did you want to start becoming more involved in the community?
Well, before I started doing MLP stuff, my YouTube channel was primarily made up with computer hardware and software reviews, where I just talk about different pieces of computer tech that I had purchased and enjoyed using, and kind of voicing my opinions. I've always kind of liked talking about what I think, and when I got into watching the show, I had no one to talk to about it. Thus, the reason I kind of started getting into making the videos. And well, as you know, I actually haven't made many yet, but I did make an account on the MLP forums and talked rather extensively with people there. And I really like talking about the show, talking about different aspects of it.
Hmm.
Um,
I think I've been noticing a theme here. The other person I had for interview a couple of days ago, he is on the MLP forums too.
It's the most obvious MLP forum out there at the moment. Like,
Yeah.
first thing I did after, I guess coming out of the stable or whatever people call it, was go and search for online forums because I'm one of those shut-ins who primarily interact with people online.
I think about 3 days after I started watching the show, I was like, like you, I don't have anyone to talk to about the show very much, so
Right.
I joined the forums, and that was good.
It's a definitely a great place to exchange ideas if you
Yes.
can wade through the occasional bouts of drama that happen. But that's the internet for you. But yeah, so yeah, and one of the things that really got me to kind of openly accept the fact that I enjoyed the show was watching one of Tommy Oliver's reviews on YouTube, and that really was kind of attractive to me. I liked the way that he set up his videos and the way that he was able to like freely express his thoughts and have people respond to them in the comment section and kind of create that ongoing conversation. Although he doesn't really comment on any of his or respond to many of his comments anymore. Um, but yeah, so I really liked the way that that kind of took place, and I wanted to get into that, and I also really wanted to become an active part of the community, because if the show doesn't get you hooked on MLP, the community definitely is going to get you hooked in some way, shape, or form, because it's just it's just so full of brilliant, creative people, and I kind of felt like I wasn't fully in it unless I was contributing to it. So yeah, again, I haven't made many videos as of yet, but that is my main kind of motivation is being able to really interact with all the rather brilliant people in the community, get that dialogue going between different people and hearing their opinions and responses to different aspects of the show. It's all a lot of fun and it keeps me going.
All right.
Was there another part of that question that I'd forgotten about in my long done explanation?
No, I don't think so. It was what
Okay.
motivates you to review, analyze MLP, and why did you want to start becoming more involved in the community? And you
Okay.
answered both of
Yep.
those, so it's fine.
Cool. Awesome.
Uh, your last point about the community really uh, segues into this one, which is, what's your favorite subsection of the MLP community?
Oh
Like
boy.
content creators, like
Right.
music, reviews, everything really, artists, fanfic writers.
I'm actually
Wow.
gonna answer this in kind of three parts because, as a general rule, I have a hard time picking favorites. So I pick favorite by category,
All right.
I suppose. As far as like just the people themselves, and interacting with them, I absolutely love the reviewing and analysis community. In the chat rooms and on the forums, it is so great to be able to talk to people and like get feedback. Like if I have a fun idea, being able to have people respond to that idea either positively or negatively, and but not just kind of like passively, but actually engage in a conversation, which I don't get anywhere else. Like if I do have a few Brony friends now who I meet with occasionally. If I try talking much about analytical or speculative points concerning the show, they kind of just I don't know how to explain it. Just kind of like stare at me funny, and then they go on talking about whatever they were talking about. So as far as like getting to know the actual people, I really love the analysis community for that. As far as like content creation that just leaves me kind of like, wow, that is amazing. The music and music community, I suppose, on YouTube and elsewhere really kind of inspires me a bit. I'm a bit of a musician myself, not nearly on the same grade as many of these people, but
I've seen a few videos on your channel with like music on it.
yeah, yeah, I do the odd cover of an existing song because I can't write my own stuff. Yeah, back when Frozen came out, that was a fun thing to write cover songs for, and so I did a few of those, and they did fairly well. But yeah, being able to listen to some of the great things that people have been able to make based on this show just kind of blows me away a bit. I've got a rather massive playlist of MLP artists that I listen to when driving to and from school and from work, and it always makes my day a little bit brighter.
Mm-hmm.
And then the final kind of favorite, I guess, is just for creativity. Is now kind of hard to answer this fully or appropriately, but most of the fan fiction community, I say most of because there are quite a lot of not quite so favorable people
Yeah,
in that.
yeah.
Um,
I certainly agree with that.
but there are some fan fictions that just kind of blow me away on how well they utilize the world and how they develop it. Special shout outs go to Penstroke for Past Sins and KCAT for Fallout Equestria. You know,
Let me just say something about Fallout Equestria. It
oh
is
my.
the best MLP fan fiction I have ever read.
Mm.
If
I
you
mean,
haven't read it, it's really
read
long.
it.
It's really long, so it's not something you can just pick up right there and then and read it. You have to
And if
sit.
you don't have the
Have
time
to.
to read it, then Crazed Ramblings on YouTube has a rather well done audiobook uploaded of it, about 60 some hours worth of it, but still, it's worth reading or listening to, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, there have been some rather brilliant kind of explanations worked in with fan fictions that, in some ways, I'm like, man, that's almost better than the show, almost. And of course, when I've gone to panels in the past and asked the actual people who work on the show what they think about fan fiction, they're not actually allowed to read any of it. So unfortunately, there's that divide between the fan fiction community and the actual show writers. But still, it's fun to kind of think about the possibilities and explore what can be done with the show, even as simplistic as it may seem. But yeah, so that's my top three, I suppose.
Okay, so we're almost reaching the half-hour mark, so let's just finish that there.
Okay,
Uh, Thank you for joining me on this interview.
thank you for
Uh,
having me.
okay, you can go and visit Quilled Ink's channel. It will be in the description. Uh, so I'm the Ponyville Critic. Thank you for listening.